Hey everybody. So today I wanted to sort of show off one of the new mission types and a little bit of the new hacking stuff. I find that if I make a update trailer, nobody really cares. And honestly, that's fair. So today, yeah, that looks right. Difficulty 2, it's on the cargo barge, which is a pretty fun level. Yeah, so basically I'm just going to try and make a video of me trying to do the mission. For the most part, I like to challenge myself and just take whatever 4 items are just randomly given to me at the start. So with the microphone, I might swap that out. Sometimes I'll swap out once every time I have to recall. But for the most part, this is a decent spread of items. Definitely some trickier gadgets I would like to have, but that's part of the fun. So I'm just going to grab a whirly to start off with. It's sort of like a nice balanced ship. It's pretty maneuverable. It can move reasonably fast if you slap some boosters on it. And it's got a whole bunch of storage and room for friends. Of course, I'm doing this one solo, but you know. So let's see. Mission target is about 5 kilometers that way. So I'm going to try and use these boosters to fling myself into these train relays. Now what these things do is they will instantly restore all of your charge. And they will very roughly fling you along towards the next one at 500 kilometers an hour. So if you can chain a bunch together, you can really keep moving. And yeah, this is the fastest way to get around in Tomorrow Forever. Oh, and I pushed my power too far. I have stalled out. You can see the little 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh dear. And power's back on and we're stabilized. Okay. So here's our mission target. Yes, I know that tracker isn't quite working properly. It's an alpha game. And those may not last much longer anyway. So you can see there's some hover mines that I can visually see, but that haven't really come up on my radar yet. These lively eye clusters are just lovely. You always know when the enemy has seen you because they just stare. But that's alright. So, our goal here is to try to download 19 files without the alert level ever going over 100. Now, 100 is not a high number for alert levels, but there's a little bit of leeway. So if we have to break a few things, and breaking things is how that alert level goes up, that'll be okay. We just need to be really selective about it. There was just an explosion. I got too close to a hover mine. Yeah, you may notice I'm at 93% now. Alright, we're just kind of slowly lifting up. I just want to give you a quick peek. There's this, oh yeah, you can see. So those big turrets are why we're not really going to go in from the top. In fact, I'm going to jet down quick. Anytime we stick our head up, they're going to try and shoot us down. There's a couple of other alternate paths onto the cargo barge. And one of them I'm going to show you right now. So, yeah, that one's looking at me. See, the security forces, they know I'm here. They're just not really sure what my deal is. And we're going to hope that they don't find out. So, if you'll notice, these giant engines, they've got to be mounted in here. And then little doors for maintenance. So this is the new hacking system. Looks totally different from what was here before. Every device has a password. You just type it in. Doesn't work, because that's not what the password is. The way to figure it out is you start with this scifi program down in the corner. Now scifi is sort of an old kind of simple program it'll just take a couple seconds to extract the ciphertext of the device's password. Now that's sort of the encrypted version of it. Now this says 18920. So if we just type this in, 18920, try to log in, nothing happens. We've got to take that over to to Brutus, who cracks Caesar ciphers, of course. Now, you could actually do this just on paper by hand. The idea with these hacking tools is that they're going to sort of visualize the puzzles of the passwords in different, like, interesting and helpful ways. And I'll also say that Brutus is not going to be alone here for long. The idea is that you'll sort of be able to look at the ciphertext and determine which password should be cracked in which way. So I do want to bring that game of life puzzle back from previous versions, and if you were to, and then you would know that you would have to use the game of life solver if you see a password that's like ADDDAAADDDD, as opposed to a bunch of numbers, and sort of try to have things be identifiable in that way. So anyway, we're attempting with key 0, so we'll click, see if it solved it. Nope. 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 Brutus is definitely the simplest password solver I would have. I made him to be simple. Not much of a puzzle as it is, but he's part of a larger tapestry. So, congratulations, Senator. The password is 63475. And I do have the Brutus sort of helpfully just puts in the password, but yeah, we just do 63475, try to log in, it'll put it into maintenance mode. Now that we're in maintenance mode, you can see the door pops open automatically. We also have a bunch of other settings we can do. The biggest things is connect user to Plexus, because now we can connect to this network in a very helpful way. And then we're just going to change this door over to our network, and now with exit maintenance mode, it works for us. So we can just press the button, and it'll do whatever we want. And of course, if you do that with a door that you haven't hacked, nothing happens. So, this is a very handy thing, and that's a very simple example of it. But for now, we need to get to the elevator. So, from previous explorations, which is to say making the game, I know that this is where the elevator shaft is. A lot of things will be different when you go into one of these levels, but for the most part, you'll get a sense of how a cargo barge is laid out, how a floating garden is laid out, etc., etc. And of course, the more variation we want in time, the more we'll add. So, yeah, I won't talk about that right now. Think about explaining what those things on the ceiling were, but you'll figure that out. So, extract the ciphertext, 479433, bring it over to Brutus. And you gotta remember, there's only 10 possible combinations for this right now. So, again, I know. Brutus is not doing a very complicated job, but it is an important job. So this, just change it to our network again. Just leave it in maintenance mode with the door open, honestly. So, okay, we can get through. The elevator doesn't have any kind of password on it. That sort of access control is just handled with the doors. So we're going to go up. Because again, part of sort of getting good at Tomorrow Forever, it's not just a matter of, mechanical skill. There's also a level of just becoming familiar with different parts of the setting. Yeah, so this is fun. You can see all of these turrets, they know we're here. And they're just looking at us, looking between us and the ship. And they know they don't have a clear line of sight because they won't shoot through the glass, but, you know, we can see them. We can see them. So that's probably fine. Okay. So now we have one more question. That question is, where are the computers? Now, I kind of guessed at floor 4, but there's a cool way for us to tell, actually. I'm going to press C to open up my little cyberplexus menu. And I'm going to click over to the cargo barge. Now, this allows me to see everything that the sort of bots are chatting about and reporting about within that network. But it also means that my HUD markers are going to be based by that. So you can see I've got a bunch of friendly devices on this floor, you know, friendly to the cargo ship, and then only one on the floor below. So I'm thinking this is probably the server room here, and I guessed right. Let's crack this door open and take a look. So let sci-fi do its thing. 657. There we go. Alright, and this door, I do... There we go. So we're going to close that door. Alright, so these are the servers. They look weird because this is a world of weird technology. But we're going to hack into them just the same way as the rest. Take the sci-fi. Let that run for a second. And then crack into them with Brutus. Now with these, you'll notice different devices have different sort of functions, admin functions on the side. So this server tower, it has this sort of data manager process. So from here we have 3 different options. This one is our objective. I may have missed some templating. But yeah, over time, this will tick up to 1 file ready for user, 2 files, 3 files, etc. But you can see 1 of 7 terminals are downloading. This will go faster the more of these we have working. So we're gonna pop open another one. And you'll notice Brutus is very cautious in terms of declaring a password incorrect. That's because in a lot of ways the sort of code of the game is, you know, he is a helpful program within the game. So he's not just checking if the password matches the password that he already knows. What he's doing is he's sending a request to the server to try and unlock the device. That's one of the sort of rules I have for a lot of these hacker tools, is they are on the player's side. And so, yeah, that's why you can kind of skip ahead a bit, because he's taking a second in case there's more server latency. But if you're feeling bold, you can just kind of click through quick. So we're just going to get all these server towers queued up to start downloading files. And we've made a pretty clean entry at this point. I've even managed to close the door behind me. So we should be good. It's just a matter of sort of finishing out. Now, to be honest, I do want these download missions to have a little bit more pushback in this phase in the future. I'm definitely playing with some ideas of having computers, or having some sort of admin that can unhack or like regain control of these servers, which would obviously make things much more challenging. But it's really just a question of how do I make that fun, because obviously computers just randomly unhacking themselves, or seemingly randomly doing that, is not going to be a fun process. But, in any case, so let's check on this one. See, 5 files ready for user. So we'll just click grab those downloaded files. It's down to 0. You can see we've got 5 of 19 downloaded. So actually, we might be good with what we've got already. Okay, 17 of 19. Okay, so 3 files left. So when I hit grab downloaded files there, the mission will complete. And I just really want to emphasize that this is a stealth mission, where the whole point is that we're getting in and out without anyone knowing that we were here. And now that we've established that, I also want to emphasize that this is an alpha game, and I needed like a quick and easy way to clean levels up when we're done with them. And I discovered something very flashy and very beautiful as a way to do that. So, enjoy the end-of-level fireworks for this stealth mission. The whole thing explodes. Don't worry. Sato is a very low-gravity planetoid. Don't have much to worry about from fall damage. I would rather those engines didn't fall on me, though. So, yeah, that's a little demonstration of a download mission. Didn't end up even using that many gadgets. That's one of the sort of questions that I'm trying to figure out with these hacking mechanics, are how powerful and how useful should they be? Yeah, they're still coming down. Because that really is the question a lot of the time. When you have different ways to do a thing, you've really got to be careful with making sure that one of those ways isn't just massively better than any other. So right now, hacking is pretty powerful. Oh, there's my little ship, slowly drifting down where I left it. Really got to remember to take those out of hover mode. Oh well. Well, that was fun. I hope I've enticed you to download the game and give it a try yourself. It is free on itch, there's a link in the description. And if you're still on the fence or you want to know more, give the video a like, subscribe to the channel. I do like doing videos like this, and now that the game's in more of a public mode, I'm going to try and put more of a focus on videos. If you'd like to support the game financially, I do have a Patreon. There's some nice rewards for you there, and every bit of support is very much appreciated. Link to that in the description as well. And finally, if you really want to go above and beyond, feedback on the game is truly the most valuable thing. You can just leave comments on YouTube videos or in the Discord, or even just press F1 at any point when you're in game. And that'll send those reports right to me. I really appreciate getting everybody's perspectives, everybody's opinions on things. For me, that's one of the most fun parts of game development. So with all that in mind, thanks for hanging out today, and I'll see you around.